This is the Hume Band, and most fitness trackers tell you how many steps you took. This one told me my body is 6 years younger than it actually is. Links are down in the description, and special thanks to Hume for sponsoring today's video. So I've been wearing this every day, all the time, and I mean all the time. In the shower, in my bed, in the morning, at night, while I'm sleeping, all the time. And the question it keeps asking isn't how fit I am, or that I need to go work out more. It's saying things like, how long are you actually going to live? And what can you do about that? Now, that sounds a little intense, but it's kind of the whole point of this band. So, it's from a company called Hume Health, and it's not a smartwatch. It doesn't have a screen, it's a screenless wearable. And it's built specifically for metabolic health and longevity tracking. And after wearing it for a few weeks, I've got some real thoughts. Good and a little mixed, so let's get into it. As always, let's start with the form. There's no screen on here, which sounds like a step backward, but when you're wearing something 24/7, the last thing you want it to be doing is pulling your attention away from literally everything, every moment of your life. Compared to my Apple Watch, it is pretty tiny, relatively, which is a good thing. It's also really light. It's only 8.6 grams, and you literally forget that you're wearing it. The SuperNet band is soft, it's breathable, and that's especially useful when you're sleeping in this. It's IP68 rated, which is good for showering, sweating in it. There's gonna be no issues there. And aesthetically, it's clean. It's kind of low key. No one's gonna be asking you really what you're wearing unless they stare at your wrist. And it just kind of looks like a little bracelet, a little band. Now, one small gripe I did have with the design of the band is to get it off, I literally have to, like, if I put it at the very end here, it's like right on the edge. So I end up just taking it all the way off like this. So putting it on is a little bit of a headache just because you have these tiny little Velcro areas, which get a little bit caught in the loop here. So you have to like kind of really force that and then pull it like that. So getting it on and off isn't my favorite thing, but like I said, if you're wearing it all the way up until you need to charge it, wearing it through showers and things like that, it's not a huge deal. I'll also say, because this is like a knit kind of fabric, it sort of absorbs water. So if that bothers you, that's gonna be a thing. I usually just take like a towel and just kind of like squish it dry, if that makes sense. But other than that, it's pretty comfortable. So let's get into the function. What does this thing actually do? I want to start with the setup. It's fairly simple to pair it to your phone. You fill in some basics about obviously your age, your height, your weight, things like that. And then immediately it just starts learning you. It's good to give it a few days before you start reading into too much of the data. It has to sort of create all of those data points so that it can start triangulating that data and really figuring out like a good picture of your body. And there's a good sort of calibration window before the numbers start to really mean anything. There's obviously numbers right out of the gate, like your heart rate variability, things like that. But in order to really get that sort of deep data and a bigger picture of your life and how your body is reacting to certain things, you got to give it a few days. So under the hood, this thing is constantly working. Heart rate, HRV, respiratory rate, blood oxygen, skin temperature trends, sleep stages, really all of the things you come to expect a tracker like this to be doing. It's here. It's running 5 LEDs and 4 photodiodes, which is most sensor coverage than a lot of wearables, especially at this price point. But hardware is great, and it's come to be expected in devices like these. But what Hume does with that data collected from the sensors and hardware is where it really shines. Hume has built 3 proprietary metrics around their data: metabolic capacity, metabolic momentum, and biological age. Metabolic capacity is basically your current sort of energy reserve. Basically how much you have to give right now in this moment. Metabolic momentum is more about direction. Are your habits compounding in a good direction over a period of time? Or are they quietly working against you? Bad habits, things like that. And then biological age, which I think is like a really fun one. So it's not your birthday, how old you actually are, it's how old your body is, like the age that your body is functioning at, if that makes sense, based on sleep, recovery, and stress patterns. So mine, I'm proud to say, came back at 26, and I'm 32, which is a bit surprising. I feel like I'm not the healthiest person, but maybe I'm not the most unhealthy person. And listen, I don't know exactly how they formulate that number, and I'm not gonna pretend it's like a perfect science either. I don't know, but I will say that seeing that younger number than I am made me want to protect it and take steps towards having an even younger performing body. It's a good perspective when you think like, how healthy am I, right? Well, I'm as healthy as a 26-year-old. That's something that sort of makes sense and can be attainable and tangible to a lot of people. And I'll say that's a different motivation than did I hit my calorie count for today? You know what I mean? So this sort of bigger picture, longer term view of your body and how it's performing, and then taking the small steps here and now to protect that over a longer period of time. It's just a different way of looking at health. Now, I will say the app itself is pretty bare bones, and I mean that in sort of like a neutral way. It gives you what you need each day, and it doesn't like overwhelm you with so many facts and figures. And my health score has been hovering around 850, which is apparently great. And now every morning when I wake up, I sync the band to my phone and I check that health score just out of habit just to see where I am. And listen, there's no subscription required for the basic data, which I respect, but if you want like AI coaching and deeper insights, then Hume Premium is $8.99 a month. So I did want to share that there is a subscription model thing going on here, but it's not exactly necessary. Now, one thing I also wanted to say is within the app, there's a section for the Hume Pod, which is basically a smart scale that does muscle, fat, hydration, that kind of thing. It has over like 30 metrics built in, and it's sort of tucked into the app, and it's basically like missing data there because I don't have one. So it's kind of like this discrete upsell, but I think in an appropriate way. It's not like pushing you to buy the scale all the time. And I definitely could see the value in also getting the scale, because then it adds more metrics to this whole picture of your body, which could be a more complete view of your body as well. And there's actually a feature called chronic illness tracking, which I'm still waiting for the band to collect enough data to be able to show me that kind of thing. And good news, this morning I got a note that it's actually gonna be ready on Monday. So I'm excited to see what all that part of the app shows about my body as well. And then I will say activity mode is in there. It's still a beta mode. There's like 6 exercises you can do. But again, this isn't really like the fitness tracking band. It's more of that like picture of your body, but it is nice that they've added, like if I go on a walk, I can do a workout within the app using the band and the sensors that are there. But again, still in beta, still to come more in that area. And honestly, I think most fitness trackers that I've tried have the fitness part, or most health wearables have the fitness tracker part as like a beta coming soon thing. I just think it's not that big of a priority, probably because so many people have things like this that already do that. They're like, that's not a huge priority. You're gonna be wearing maybe both of these, so this isn't anything new. Sleep tracking is great. It's kind of what you've come to expect from any sort of wearable that tracks sleep data. There were a couple nights where it was a little confused with how long I slept, which was a little concerning at first, honestly, and that might bother you. But again, this is like a longer picture of your health, so I think a few nights missing here or there isn't really a huge deal when it comes to big picture. Just something I noted, and I wanted to make sure you all knew. All right, so who is this for? Well, I don't think like the hardcore athlete who wants to be tracking every workout and getting that precise data with how well your body performed in those sort of stressed environments. It's not that. Now, an athlete could definitely use this device to get a bigger picture of their body as it's going through stress over a longer period of time with training and rest and things like that. But if you want that like intense training band, Whoop or someone else like that is probably what you're gonna lean towards. But I'll say, like, if you're someone like me, just sort of a regular non-athletic person who just wants to be healthy and fully present over the next 30 years, this is a really different type of tracker. It's about people thinking of longevity and not just here and now performance. $199 with no mandatory subscription. The barrier here is lower than most of the competition, and there's pretty interesting data that you can get from this device. That said, it is a newer device. It's still gaining trust in the market. And if you're okay with sort of an early product that has some space to grow, then this could be a really fun journey for you. So let's wrap it up here. The Hume Band gave me something to care about that I didn't really expect. That's longevity, a reason to care about my body in the coming years and have a bigger picture of what that looks like. It's not about like step count or calories, while those things can be gained from this device. Again, it's that bigger picture of how your body is performing over time. There's some rough edges here, but as they continue to work on software and then, of course, iterate on the hardware, it's only going to get better. But the idea at the center of this device, I think it's the right one. Again, links are down in the description. Special thanks to Hume for sponsoring today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, we help you discover tech that is intentionally designed and well made. Tech that marries form and function. So if that sounds cool to you, please consider subscribing. Like this video for more. Hype it up if you would. Watch this video next. I think you're gonna love it. And we'll see you in the next one.